You're the joy, 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 light in my soul. The joy, 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 making me whole. Though I'm broken, I am running into your arms of love.
Peace of the Lord be with you on this marvelous day. Every day is a marvelous day because it's a day that the Lord has made. So we must rejoice and be glad in it. So I guess over the weekend, right? Today is Thursday. So hopefully I get to edit this and it's all good. So over the weekend, it was Super Bowl Sunday and everybody was glued to the TV watching the Super Bowl game. And normally when it's Super Bowl, our family tends to gather. And because my dad was sick, last week, we didn't kind of canceled plans just in case my dad had to get surgery of some sort. So that way we're not focused on purchasing things for this event, right? And I don't have regular TV. I just use the Wi-Fi if like we want to watch a movie, if we want to watch a certain show. And so watching the Super Bowl was super difficult. Our family sat together in the living room and we were trying to figure it out for about half an hour to an hour, trying to figure out how we can watch this game, right? Like by the time maybe I would have figured it out, it would have been over, And we decided to give up. Like I gave up. I was like, this is ridiculous. Why do I even want to watch the game? I'm not even a football enthusiast or like where I'm like faithfully watching football to see who's gonna make it on for the end, who's gonna get the cup. And so I was like, okay, we'll just watch a movie with the kids. So during the halftime show, after it was over, it was so crazy because I went on Facebook and there was a bunch of memes of Shakira. There was a bunch of memes of J-Lo. And so I was like, okay, like the way that they're dressed is not very, it's not very modest, And so I started seeing posts of other people that I follow and they're like, oh my gosh, that halftime show. And you get some people that are like, oh, the Latinas, oh, thank goodness that they were on the show, like Latina power, and it's like, I kind of sat with that. And as the time went on, like the week went on, I started just seeing more posts and more posts and more posts about it. And so I decided to watch the video because I wasn't sure. Like I said, I think God was saving my family from watching the Super Bowl. And mind you, the Super Bowl is supposed to be a family type of moment where you get to sit and watch the football game with your family. And in reality, what's so off is the stripper pole. One, like the value of the woman in this halftime show was so degraded. The way that they were dressed, stripper show is all I could think of. And then the songs that they were singing, a lot of it was very sexual. And I was talking to one of my cousins who's, they saw the Super Bowl and they, watched the halftime show. And she was like, I was listening to a video of Padre Teo, who is a Spanish, he's from Germany, but he speaks really good Spanish. And his ministry is all done in Spanish. And he talked about a possession that somebody had. A possession is someone that has basically demons or a demon inside the person and is taking over their life. And so then the priest goes and kind of does an exorcism prayer on them. And hopefully by the grace of God, they get delivered from that, right? And so as he was having this conversation with the demon, he starts saying, Shakira is my very best friend. Like, she's my good friend. And he was like, well, who's Shakira? Because during that time that this had happened, Shakira hadn't been very well known throughout the world. And then he asked, well, who is she? And he said, well, she's my friend. And the reason, and he asked her like, why? And he said, because the way that she dresses and the way that she sings, it causes people to sin. And so she's my very good friend. And so then he started talking about the type of music she sings, and it's reggaeton, which is like, if you heard the beat of the music, it's very like Africanized, like, you know, with the drums and stuff. And normally, like within the African community, the rituals that they do, these are rituals to call on like certain spirits. And so he talks about how people have become possessed through this act of el reggaeton. And it's so crazy because sometimes we don't think that by listening to a particular way of dance, you'll get possessed. And obviously you can get possessed, and it's like, what are you gonna do to be delivered from this possession? And some people really don't believe it. They don't believe it because they turn a blind eye to what the devil wants you to turn a blind eye. For him, if you turn a blind eye, that's perfect, because that's just going to cause you to sin even more, and it's going to cause you to fall into sin. It's going to cause you to steer away from Jesus Christ and to fall into hell, where he wants all of us to go. He hates us, you know? So the more that he can entice us to sin, to look at these images on a screen, to imitate the things that are being done by these people who have the world's eye on view, the better. And so, you know, I also saw how J-Lo was on that stripping pole, and how she had her arms out like the resurrection. Like, that's pretty crazy. And it's kind of blasphemous. And that's some of the things that I saw circulating social media. Like, a lot of people were saying like, that's super blasphemous. And actually there's, I think, a petition going on right now to kind of remove these things from the halftime show. Because I think if you see all of the times that the Super Bowl has gone on, and how every year it becomes more and more aggressive to like shoving this down families, shoving the fact that you can be immodest, you could dress immodest, you can speak immodest, and then your kids are listening to this. And as I was listening to it, my little girl walked in. And see, and this is funny because my cousin had told me, you know, my son started dancing that beat of the music. And it was crazy because my daughter walked in while I was watching it, and she started to dance the rhythm of the music. And I kind of was like, what the heck? Because I don't listen to secular music. I listen to like Christian Catholic music. Like, that's what I listen to. And that's on my radio all the time. And so it's crazy how much the enemy can infiltrate himself. And I remember in one of the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima, she says that she's seen a box in every living room in families' homes. I think it was our Blessed Mother. And how that was going to cause families to sin. And if you think about it, yes, that's like the easiest way infiltration for the enemy to get into homes is through the television, because everybody owns at least one. And it's like, what are you doing to keep your kids from watching things that they shouldn't? What are you doing to keep your kids, like when that happened, the halftime show came on, did you turn it off or did you continue watching it? Like, was your spirit uncomfortable while you were watching? Another thing that I thought was super crazy was the pictures of the men watching the halftime show and how they were glued to the images that were coming on. Why do you guys think that is? Like I mentioned, it's kind of like pornographic. So they had this inclination to watch the movements of the woman. And there was a time where Shakira got onto the floor and basically her whole butt was showing, and she was doing like sexual movements on the floor. And then towards the end of the show, before J-Lo's little girl was singing, they were both shaking their butt and they were lifting up their, I think one of them was lifting up her skirt, or she had taken off her skirt. So you could see like a thongish type of underwear. So you could see her booty, you know, and it's like, how is that acceptable? Like, I don't understand myself, but I know that the devil's influence on TV is very, very prominent. And I'm actually going to leave the petition down below so you could sign that and basically tell the Super Bowl, you know, not to be putting things that are inappropriate on the halftime show, because kids are watching and kids pick up on things very easily. So with that said, that was my 2 cents on the Super Bowl. Peace of the Lord stay with you. If you like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.